Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men." In today's world, filled with loud voices and shallow egos, true strength seems lost. We find ourselves asking, where are the real men? What happened to the silent power that doesn't need applause? Stoicism is the ultimate test of manhood, because real strength isn't measured by wealth or words. It's measured by endurance, self-control, and resilience. If you seek to embody unshakable Stoic strength, this is your test. Today we'll unlock the silent power within you, the Stoic strength that fortifies your mind, sharpens your will, and lets you weather life's storms without ever needing to speak a word. Stoic strength. Does being loud or physically dominant sound stoic to you? If not, why? Stoic strength involves staying calm and composed when life throws its toughest challenges at you. It's not built from what we own or how we look, but from who we are at our core. True Stoic strength comes from within, your ability to endure hardships, control your impulses, and remain resilient. Think of it like a quiet, unshakable power that doesn't need to show off, but stands tall in the face of adversity. You've probably heard people say, just hit the gym and all your problems will disappear. But Stoic strength goes deeper than that. Physical exercise is great, but it's the mental training that truly matters. The Stoics believed that building strength wasn't just about working out your body, but also sharpening your mind and your willpower. It's about staying disciplined, controlling your emotions, and not letting outside things like others' opinions or fleeting desires throw you off balance. In the gym, you push through physical limits, right? But how about using that same energy to fortify your mental resilience? The Stoics understood that suffering shapes us. As Seneca said, "Fire tests gold. Suffering tests brave men." It's in tough moments, whether it's a grueling workout or a life crisis, that we find our real strength. Here's the challenge for you. Next time you step into the gym, don't just focus on lifting weights or getting stronger physically. See it as an opportunity to train your mind. Think about the discipline, self-control, and patience it takes to make progress. Those are the same principles Stoicism is built on. Physical exercise, when approached with a Stoic mindset, is less about looking good and more about mastering yourself. How do you see Stoic strength showing up in your daily life, whether in your workouts or when facing life's bigger challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's support each other by exchanging experiences and building mental toughness through our obstacles and growth. Self-control. How can self-control empower you without burying or suppressing your feelings? Self-control is supposed to navigate and manage your emotions effectively. A true Stoic masters their emotions by focusing on what's within their control, their reactions, thoughts, and attitudes. This approach allows external events to lose their power over you. Instead of suppressing your feelings, it's about asking yourself, is this desire reasonable, or is it just an emotional response that I can think through? Let's be real. When you feel anger, frustration, or any strong emotion, it's hard to keep calm. But reacting on impulse doesn't solve anything, it just makes things worse. Instead of letting the heat of the moment take over, try to step back. Ask yourself, does acting on this emotion serve me in the long run? Often, taking a moment to think changes everything. When you focus on what you can control, your mind, your attitude, you become much stronger. It's like a mental superpower. You stop being pushed around by your feelings and start leading yourself through life with purpose. It's not about denying yourself. Stoicism is not about starving yourself of the things that bring joy or pleasure. It's about choosing when and how to engage with those things so they don't control you. For example, if you're craving something that's not good for you, ask yourself, is there a better way to satisfy this? Can I choose something healthier right now? You're not ignoring your needs. You're making better decisions about how to meet them. Meditation is a great tool to add to this because it helps you manage your thoughts instead of letting them manage you. When you're in control of your thoughts, your emotions become much easier to handle. That's where self-discipline starts. By training your mind to focus on what matters and to let go of distractions that pull you away from your goals. You can't always control the desires that come up, but you can absolutely control whether you act on them or not. And the more you practice choosing the right action over impulse, the weaker those destructive urges become. Each decision is like a muscle. Strengthen it, and over time, those bad habits will shrink. If you're struggling with procrastination or avoidance, think about why. Why are you dodging what you need to do? Is it because you see it as a burden? Try to find the value in the task. Maybe it's not fun, but can you see how it moves you closer to your goals? Reframing your mindset can make all the difference. Instead of dreading a task, find a way to take pride in it. You'll feel a sense of accomplishment afterward, and that feeling is unbeatable. Mastering self-control is about finding the space between feeling an emotion and acting on it. There's always a choice. When you discover that gap, you realize you're not at the mercy of your feelings anymore. You're in charge. And finally, one last practical tip. Tackle your responsibilities as early as possible. You'll find that it doesn't take time away from you. It gives you more time. The sooner you do what needs to be done, the sooner you can enjoy the things you really want. You'll break the cycle of avoidance and gain a sense of freedom and control that makes everything else feel lighter. In Stoicism, strength comes from taking action, embracing your duties, and shaping your life with intention. If you found this video helpful or enjoyed the content, please give it a thumbs up. It truly helps our channel more than you might think. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Acceptance of adversity. Adversity is something most of us try to avoid, but Stoicism teaches us that hardships are part of life. Instead of running from them, we should embrace them as opportunities to grow. After all, how can we build resilience if we're never tested? Challenges teach us lessons, build character, and make us stronger. Think about why some people seem to come out of adversity as stronger versions of themselves, while others are weighed down by it. Why does one person become wiser and more resilient, while another spirals into depression, anxiety, or low self-esteem? It might seem like a mystery, but the difference often comes down to mindset, support systems, and how we learn to cope. We all face hardships, but the real question is how we respond. For example, some people might crumble when they're confronted with adversity, letting negative thoughts take over. Others might lean into the struggle, accepting it as a way to improve themselves. This doesn't mean it's easy, quite the opposite. But when you view challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, you start to grow in ways you never expected. This is the essence of Stoic strength, embracing hardship as a way to sharpen your mind and strengthen your character. Everyone deals with stress differently. Some people learn to cope early on, developing healthy habits that help them navigate hard times. Others might lack those tools and feel overwhelmed when life throws them curveballs. In some cases, it can even lead to mental health problems. But can you learn to be resilient? Absolutely. In Stoicism, strength doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from facing it head-on. Imagine someone who works out every time they face a setback. Over time, not only do they avoid falling into despair, but they actually become stronger. Compare that to someone who turns to unhealthy habits like junk food or negative thinking. Those choices only bring more pain in the long run. It's the same with your mindset. If you face adversity with a solid, positive attitude, you'll be able to push through and come out stronger. But if you constantly avoid it or blame the world for your problems, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of excuses and stagnation. Stoic philosophy encourages us to take full responsibility for our choices, even in the toughest moments. This is where true strength lies, not in avoiding hardship, but in embracing it and using it as fuel for growth. Another important factor in how we handle adversity is our support system and habits. Having a strong network of people who care about us can make all the difference. So can developing healthy coping mechanisms before adversity strikes. If you build a habit of facing problems rather than avoiding them, you'll be better prepared when life gets tough. For instance, consider the practice of preparation in Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, constantly reminded himself that life was full of challenges and that his duty was to meet them with courage and clarity. He knew adversity was inevitable, but he didn't fear it. He prepared his mind and body to deal with it by cultivating strength and self-discipline. This same approach can help anyone become stronger in the face of adversity. At the end of the day, how we handle adversity often comes down to our attitude. You can have all the right tools, but if your mindset isn't in the right place, those tools won't get you very far. Some people seem to have less in life, but get through difficult times because they have a rock-solid attitude. Others may have all the resources, but fall apart because they have a negative outlook or avoid responsibility. This brings us to an important part of Stoic manhood, the courage to face life head-on. Growing up isn't just about age. It's about facing the challenges that come your way without backing down. It's about having the guts to accept adversity and use it to build your strength. Stoicism teaches us that trials aren't to be feared. They're the very things that help us grow into the best version of ourselves. And as men, we should strive for that courage, that inner strength to tackle life with fortitude and resilience. In the end, it's not about avoiding pain or hardship, but embracing it as a natural part of life. Through adversity, we grow, and through growth, we find our true strength. That's how you build mental toughness and develop the mindset of a true Stoic. Detachment from outcomes. Detaching from outcomes is one of the hardest things to do. We grow up thinking that success means getting what we want, whether that's money, approval, or status. But what if I told you that the real strength doesn't come from what you get, but from how you handle things when you don't get what you expect? Imagine you're always chasing something, maybe a job promotion, someone's approval, or even financial success. That constant chase will burn you out. Why? Because you're focused on something outside of yourself. The problem with focusing too much on outcomes is that it makes us stressed and anxious in the present. We keep telling ourselves, if only I could have this or achieve that, then I'll be happy. But that's not true. If you can't find peace or contentment in the now, no amount of success will fill that void. It's like planting seeds of stress and expecting them to grow into happiness. It doesn't work that way. What if you could learn to appreciate the process rather than obsessing over the outcome? If you love what you're doing right now, the result won't matter as much. Whether you win or lose, get the promotion or not, Your sense of self won't crumble because it's built on something stronger than external success. It's built on the way you show up every day, the effort you put in, and the lessons you learn. When you detach from needing a specific outcome, it doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop relying on it to validate you. For example, if you practice something like tennis every day, whether you win the match or not, you're still improving. The same thing goes for life. Practice gratitude every day, and you'll be grateful no matter what situation you're in. Here's the thing, being too attached to an outcome can actually hold you back. When you're so focused on one result, you close yourself off to other possibilities that might be even better. If you're open to whatever happens, you allow room for growth, new opportunities, and surprises you never expected. One thing that helps is to focus on the journey, not the destination. We all have goals, but how often do we pause to enjoy the steps we're taking to get there? Life happens in the now, not in some future point you're waiting for. If you spend all your time stressing about what could happen, you're missing the beauty of what is happening. Another tip. Celebrate small wins. Don't wait until you've achieved the big, shiny goal to feel proud of yourself. Every small step forward is a victory. And sometimes, life will throw a curveball that forces you to change direction. That's okay. Be open to it. You might end up somewhere even better than you originally planned. Remember, you're not giving up on your goals by detaching from them. You're just giving yourself permission to be happy and content, whether or not things turn out the way you hoped. Trust the process. Every effort you make, every bit of energy you put into something will come back to you. Maybe not in the way you expected, but it will. Nothing is wasted. Detaching from the outcome also gives you freedom. When you're not tied to a specific result, you can be more creative. You're not boxed in by expectations. You can try new things, take risks, and explore different paths without worrying about whether it all adds up to the right result. How can detachment actually be about caring more deeply? Detachment is all about caring deeply for your own growth and peace of mind. The outcome, whether it's what you wanted or not, doesn't define you. You define you. So, the next time you're working toward a goal, ask yourself, am I enjoying the process? Am I growing as a person, no matter what happens? If the answer is yes, then you're already winning. One last thing that really helps with detachment is understanding that some things are just out of your control. You can do everything right and still not get the result you wanted. That's life. It doesn't mean you failed, it just means there were other factors at play, and that's okay. You can only control your own actions and intentions. The rest, let it go. Detach. Keep moving forward no matter what. Dive deep into the Stoic detachment practice in our video, How to Let Go of Someone. I'll leave the link in the description below. Perseverance in silence. Perseverance in silence is one of the hardest yet most powerful lessons in life. True strength doesn't mean shouting your wins or looking for applause. It means keeping your head down, working hard, and knowing that your progress matters, even if no one else sees it. We live in a time when people share everything, their breakfast, their gym routines, even their random thoughts online. And while sharing can be cool, it can also make us feel like we need to get validation from others all the time. But here's the thing. Real strength doesn't scream for attention. It's the quiet grind, the steady hustle when no one's watching. Think about it. How often do we freak out about things that won't even matter in a week or a month? Like, the older I get, the more I realize how pointless that is. Freaking out doesn't solve anything. I've been through a lot. Tough jobs, breakups, faced health scares, and had to deal with some pretty heavy life changes. But you know what? Freaking out didn't help. It's just wasted energy. The truth is, keeping your calm, pushing through quietly, that's where the real power lies. Look at people like Michael Jordan. He didn't go around flaunting his wins mid-game. What made him different was his mental edge. He would find the weakness in his opponents, figure out how to use their emotions against them, all while staying focused. That's real strength. He didn't need to show off. He just delivered. It's like standing firm, not letting anything knock you off balance, and not giving power to things outside your control. This idea of mental toughness applies to more than just sports. Some of the wealthiest, most powerful people you know might lose it over the smallest things because they aren't mentally equipped to handle stuff that's out of their control. They might be able to control every tiny aspect of their life. But the second something unexpected happens, like a bad deal or their favorite restaurant running out of avocado toast, they start freaking out. It's wild, right? When you're on a team or even going through life, people will support you. But there's always that voice that says, don't show weakness. Especially in sports, there's this idea that if you show any sign of struggle, your opponents will jump on it. They'll use it against you. That's why in so many sports, mental health isn't even discussed. It's all about pushing through, not letting anyone see you falter. The balance between pushing through and knowing when to step back is key. This don't show weakness mentality isn't just found in sports. It's present everywhere, in school, at work, in everyday life. Society teaches us to be tough all the time, but true strength comes from knowing when to slow down, reflect, and ask for help. Look at someone like Simone Biles, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Even she had to pause and say, "I'm not okay." That moment of stepping back took more strength than simply pushing through when she was mentally and emotionally exhausted. As Marcus Aurelius once said, be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. This quote embodies the idea of quiet perseverance. It's not about always being in the spotlight, showing off how tough you are. It's about being steady and calm, even when the storm is raging around you. True resilience isn't loud. It doesn't need applause or recognition. It's about showing up, putting in the effort, and not needing anyone to pat you on the back. At the end of the day, the most enduring strength lies in the grind. It's found in the moments when you keep going, even when things get tough, and especially when no one else is watching. True strength, as the Stoics teach, is in your quiet, consistent effort, and often the strongest people are the ones who grow quietly, without needing to prove it to anyone else. Start with plain living. Living a simple life isn't just about getting rid of stuff. It's about focusing on what truly matters and building a strong, unshakable character. In a world obsessed with material things, the Stoics remind us to let go of what we don't need and embrace modesty. One of the best ways to start is by practicing plain living. This doesn't mean giving up everything, but it does mean taking a closer look at the things we hold on to and asking ourselves whether they're really adding value to our lives. When you make the decision to let go of the things that are weighing you down, you'll start to feel lighter mentally and emotionally. This isn't about living some extreme lifestyle. A true Stoic doesn't need to cling to material possessions or unnecessary comforts. It's about trimming the fat, so to speak, cutting away what's distracting you from what truly matters. Simplify your eating habits. Get rid of clothes you haven't worn in years. Stop indulging in things that no longer serve you. When you do this, you'll realize that those things you let go of were nothing but distractions. They were taking up mental space, pulling you away from focusing on developing a strong mind and character. By letting go, you create space to focus on your purpose, your growth, and the things that truly move you forward. You're no longer controlled by cravings or clutter. Instead, you'll find clarity, and that clarity will lead you to feeling more in control of your life. It's not about deprivation or denying yourself. It's about realizing that most of what we hold on to isn't necessary. When you simplify, when you focus on what's essential, you gain the strength to live with purpose. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When you simplify your life, you free up mental space, allowing you to focus on becoming a better version of yourself. The less you have, the less you're weighed down by the worry of maintaining or losing it. It's about mastering your desires instead of letting them control you. One thing the Stoics believed deeply is that your worth doesn't come from the things you own, but from the virtues you practice every day. When you live simply, you give yourself the chance to sharpen these virtues, things like wisdom, courage, and temperance. The Stoics didn't look at their possessions and ask, "Is it okay to own this stuff?" Instead, they asked, "Is this helping me live a virtuous life?" Living a life of virtue means you're not tied to the things that surround you. But simplicity doesn't mean you can't enjoy the things you have. Stoicism isn't about rejecting everything. It's about recognizing that the things you own are just tools, and they can be taken away at any time. Whether it's your favorite shirt or a gaming console, enjoy them while you have them. But don't let them own you. It can be tough to live a life of virtue when the world around us seems so focused on material gain. Many of us feel caught between two worlds. On the one hand, we want to live true to our inner values. But on the other hand, society pushes us to chase after wealth and status. We might feel like we're failing when we're not keeping up with the latest trends or buying the newest gadgets. But that's the trap Stoicism helps us avoid. Finding the balance between living a life of virtue and achieving success in today's world is a struggle we all face at some point. Some days you might feel like you've got it figured out, living true to your values while keeping up with what society expects. But other times you might feel lost, questioning if you're wasting time by not chasing after the so-called American dream. The world around you may value status, wealth, and the latest trends, but none of that defines your worth. The real challenge isn't fitting into a social hierarchy, it's staying true to your principles. Virtue isn't about gaining approval or climbing the ladder. It's about living in a way that aligns with your core beliefs, no matter what society says. Courage, wisdom, and justice are the real treasures, the things that give life meaning and purpose. When you focus on plain living, when you choose to live simply, you clear not only your physical space, but also your mind. You stop worrying about things outside of your control, whether it's the pressure to keep up with trends or the fear of losing possessions. The simplicity of plain living creates mental freedom. When you let go of what you don't need, your mind opens up to the things that matter, your growth, your character, and your purpose. You'll realize that those possessions you once held onto were keeping you trapped in a cycle of wanting more, stressing over things that don't bring real value to your life. Once you break free from that cycle, you'll feel a sense of control and clarity like never before. It's liberating, and it allows you to focus on what truly strengthens you, building courage, wisdom, and self-control. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." When you strip away the excess and focus on what's essential, life doesn't just become simpler, it makes you stronger. This mental resilience is what will allow you to face life's challenges head-on, without being weighed down by distractions or unnecessary baggage. If you found this insightful, don't forget to share it with someone who could use a little wisdom. And if you want to learn how to outsmart everyone with powerful Stoic techniques, check out the video linked in the description below. Shift your perception of problems. When life throws problems your way, don't see them as things to be feared or avoided. See them for what they really are, challenges that can help you build your inner strength. Instead of worrying about how tough things are, view them as chances to refine your inner fortress. Problems are like weights for your mind. Just like lifting weights builds muscle, handling challenges builds resilience. The Stoics taught us that we can't control everything that happens, but we can control how we perceive it. You've got more power than you think, but it starts with shifting your mindset. When you look at a problem and think, "This is going to make me stronger," you immediately take control. Instead of being weighed down, you rise above it. What's the secret to staying emotionally strong, no matter what comes your way? It's not about avoiding problems or trying to fix everything around you. The key is internalizing a Stoic mindset. That means truly understanding that you have control over your reactions. When you shift your focus to what's inside, your thoughts, your beliefs, you unlock the door to resilience. It's easy to get upset when things don't go your way. Maybe you're stuck in traffic and the frustration starts building. But instead of letting that frustration ruin your day, imagine how much worse it could be. Visualize a busted car that barely works, or a time when you didn't even have a car to get you around. Suddenly, being stuck in traffic doesn't seem so bad. That's the power of perception. It changes everything. It's not the traffic that's the problem, it's your perception of it. Our minds are powerful. Every emotion you feel, every thought you have, is shaped by how you view the world. But you have control over that. Not instantly, but over time, you can train yourself to see things differently. When you experience something negative, don't shove it under the rug or pretend it's not there. Face it. Look at it from another angle. Ask yourself, is this really as bad as I think it is? That's how you start mastering your perception. The Stoics lived in the real world, just like us. They weren't asking you to avoid emotions. They were encouraging you to investigate them. When you do that, you'll find that a lot of what you consider bad isn't so bad after all. It's just your perception that needs adjusting. Here's the hard truth. Most things in life are beyond your control. But that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's liberating. When you finally accept that you can't control everything, you're free. Free from stress. Free from worrying about what could go wrong. The Stoics teach us that the only way to find true freedom is to let go of things that aren't in our power. Think about it. How much time do you spend worrying about things you have no control over? Whether it's other people's opinions, unexpected events, or even the future, we get trapped in this cycle of worry. But once you realize that none of these things are in your control, you can shift your focus to what is. That's where your true power lies, in controlling your actions, thoughts, and how you respond to life's challenges. The beauty of Stoicism is that it shows you that no matter what happens, you always have a choice. You can't choose the circumstances, but you can always choose how you respond to them. That's where your strength comes from. You're not at the mercy of the world around you. You're in control of your inner world, and that's what really matters. When you make this mindset shift, you'll feel lighter and more in control of your life. The external world can't shake you because your strength comes from within. And with each challenge you face, you'll grow even stronger, knowing that nothing can truly harm you unless you let it. Here's a challenge for you. The next time you're faced with a tough situation, ask yourself, is this really as bad as I'm making it out to be? Chances are, it's not. Think about people who have it much worse, or imagine yourself in a scenario where your problem seems trivial. When you do that, you'll start to see that most of your problems are only as big as you make them. Every tough moment is a chance to become a little stronger, a little wiser. Instead of feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, use it as fuel to grow. That's what a Stoic does. They turn obstacles into opportunities. One of the most freeing things you can do is let go of things that are outside your control. That includes your emotions. You don't have to be a slave to your feelings. Yes, emotions happen, but you don't have to let them control your life. Over time, as you practice shifting your perception, you'll notice that those negative emotions lose their grip on you. Instead of being reactive, you become proactive. You decide how to handle challenges, you decide what to focus on, and you decide what matters most in your life. That's real freedom, and it's something you can work on every single day. Your inner fortress isn't built overnight. It takes time, patience, and practice. But every time you face a challenge and choose to see it as an opportunity, you lay another brick in that fortress. And before long, you'll find that nothing can shake you because you've built your strength from the inside out. Embrace the power of letting go. Embracing the power of letting go is one of the most freeing and important lessons you can learn, especially from a Stoic perspective. We spend so much time and energy clinging to things we can't control, whether it's the opinions others have of us, the mistakes we've made, or the things that happen to us out of nowhere. Stoicism teaches us that holding on to things that aren't in our control causes suffering. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding what is and isn't within your power and learning to accept that truth. Think about it. How many times have you replayed a conversation in your head, wishing you had said something different? How many sleepless nights have you spent worrying about a situation you couldn't change? We all do it. But what if, instead of focusing on what went wrong, you shifted your attention to what you could actually do moving forward? What if you accepted that the past is done and that dwelling on it only keeps you trapped? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or pretending something never happened. It's about acknowledging the reality of the situation and choosing not to let it control your present or future. If someone hurts you, that's on them. You can't control how other people act, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to let go of the anger, the frustration, and the bitterness. By letting go, you're giving yourself the gift of peace. Sometimes it feels hard to let go because we think holding on will somehow change the outcome. We imagine different scenarios in our heads, wondering, what if I had done this instead? Or, why didn't they act differently? But the truth is, none of that matters now. It's already happened. and no amount of thinking or wishing will change it. The only thing you can control is your reaction to it. Take a breakup, for example. It's painful, right? But holding on to that pain, reliving every moment, and constantly thinking about what went wrong is only going to keep you stuck. The relationship is over, and no matter how much you hold on to it, it won't bring it back. What you can do is let go of the hurt and start focusing on healing yourself. Let go of the past so you can make room for a better future. Letting go is a practice, and like any practice, it takes time and effort. It's not something that happens overnight. You have to be patient with yourself. Every time those thoughts come creeping back in, gently remind yourself to let go. It might help to set aside time each day to reflect and release those feelings. Maybe you take an hour to journal, meditate, or just sit with your thoughts. Over time, you'll find that the need to hold on becomes less and less. At the end of the day, letting go is about freedom. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of things you can't control and focusing on what you can, your actions, your mindset, and your growth. When you let go, you create space for new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences. You allow yourself to move forward instead of staying stuck in the past. So, the next time you catch yourself holding on to something that's causing you pain, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, then it's time to let go. Life is too short to carry around baggage that isn't yours to hold. Let it go and watch how much lighter you feel. If you're looking to dive deeper into the power of detachment and living freely, check out our video in the description below, Master the Art of Not Caring. Unbreakable Resilience. Resilience is like having an inner fortress, a strong foundation that nothing from the outside world can shake. Imagine a tree rooted deep in the ground. No matter how fierce the storm gets, the tree sways, but never falls. That's the kind of inner strength you want to build in life. When your foundation is solid, nothing can break you, not even the toughest challenges life throws at you. And let's be real, life will hit hard. Just like Rocky said, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. This is the essence of resilience. In Stoicism, resilience isn't about pretending that bad things don't happen or acting like nothing ever affects you. It's about accepting that tough moments are part of life and choosing how you respond. When life gets tough, resilience means bouncing back, not by ignoring the pain, but by processing it in a way that makes you stronger. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, it's not the things that happen to us that break us. It's how we let those things affect our mind. Building resilience means strengthening your mind and spirit. It's about not letting other people's toxic behavior or tough circumstances make you lose control of yourself. If someone insults you or treats you unfairly, you can feel the emotions, but you don't have to let them take over your actions. Resilience is staying grounded in your own values, your own sense of who you are, no matter what's going on around you. That's where your true strength lies. Without resilience, you're like a leaf caught in the wind, tossed around by every gust. But with resilience, you're like that deep-rooted tree, standing tall and firm no matter the weather. Life will always throw challenges at us, whether it's losing a job, dealing with difficult people, or even facing personal failures. But each of these moments is an opportunity to practice resilience, to stand tall and say, "This will not break me." Now, let's be honest. Resilience doesn't mean you won't feel the pain or disappointment. Stoicism doesn't ask us to be emotionless robots. Instead, it teaches us that emotions are natural, but they shouldn't control us. Resilience is the skill of feeling those emotions, but not letting them take the driver's seat in your life. You can feel anger or sadness, but you don't let those feelings dictate how you respond. You keep moving forward, focused on your goals and values. And don't mistake resilience for some magical armor that blocks all the tough moments. It's not about being untouchable or pretending like nothing hurts. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you can recover, you can adapt, and you can keep going. As Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. The more you face and overcome, the stronger you get. Resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger it becomes, the more capable you are of handling whatever life throws at you. It's not about avoiding hardship, but about learning how to stand firm in the middle of it. You become someone who isn't easily shaken, someone who knows that whatever comes, you can handle it. In Stoicism, resilience is tied to freedom. When you're resilient, you're free from the control of external forces. No one can manipulate you or make you feel small because your strength comes from within. You have control over your mind, and that's all that matters. Everything else, the insults, the setbacks, the disappointments, are just noise. Your focus stays on what you can control, and that's where your power lies. So how do you build this unbreakable resilience? Start by focusing on what's within your control. You can't control the actions of others, but you can control how you react. You can't control every event in your life, but you can control your mindset. The next time life throws a punch, remember, resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being able to recover, adapt, and keep moving forward, no matter what. The obstacle is the way, as Marcus Aurelius famously said. Every challenge is a chance to grow, a chance to strengthen your resilience. Reclaiming your true self. There's a powerful feeling that comes with truly knowing who you are. It's like reclaiming the real you from the noise of other people's opinions and expectations. Stoicism teaches us that we can detach ourselves from the need for approval or recognition. It's not about building walls or shutting people out. It's about finding peace within and powering forward from your own internal strength. When you stop chasing recognition, you reclaim your freedom. You realize that you don't need anyone else's approval to feel good about yourself or your decisions. Think about it. How often have you changed your behavior, your plans, or even your thoughts just because you were worried about how others would see you? It's exhausting. But Stoicism teaches us that we don't need to live that way. When you shift your focus from what others think to what you believe is right, you reclaim your power. You can stand tall, make decisions with confidence, and stay on your path without being thrown off course by every little opinion. Marcus Aurelius put it best when he said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." When you reclaim your true self, you stop living for others. You live with purpose, driven by your values, your goals, and your vision for your life. It's not selfish to put yourself first in this way. In fact, it's the key to being your most authentic, resilient self. When you no longer need recognition, you can focus on what truly matters, whether that's your personal growth, your relationships, or your ambitions. Being detached from the need for recognition doesn't mean you stop caring about people. In fact, it frees you to care in a more genuine way. You're no longer doing things just to impress others or gain their approval. Instead, you're acting out of kindness, strength, and integrity because you choose to, not because you expect anything in return. So how do you build that unshakable resolve? It starts with small steps. Practice making decisions that align with your values, even when they're not popular. Learn to trust yourself. When you feel yourself being swayed by the opinions of others, pause and ask yourself, does this really matter to me? Is this in line with who I truly am? With every step you take in this direction, you get stronger. Your inner foundation becomes more solid, and soon no external storm can break you. It's like building a fortress inside yourself, one that can weather any challenge life throws your way. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Think about the times when you've been the most proud of yourself. Was it because someone else gave you a pat on the back? Or was it because you knew, deep down, that you did something meaningful, something true to who you are? That's the feeling we're aiming for, the satisfaction that comes from within, not from external praise. When you live this way, you become unstoppable. You're no longer seeking approval, and that means you're free to take bold steps, make mistakes, and keep going. You're powered by your own resolve, and that's a strength no one can take away from you. The goal isn't to shut out the world, it's to stand firm in who you are, no matter what the world throws your way. The Stoics believed that true power comes from within. When you live with this mindset, you become resilient, not because you're shielded from life's difficulties, but because you know that nothing external can truly harm you. So take that step today. Reclaim your true self. Live from a place of inner strength and purpose. Detach from the need for recognition, and you'll find a sense of freedom and power that will carry you through life's challenges. It's not about being invincible. It's about being unshakable. When you're powered by your own resolve, nothing can knock you off your path. If this video gave you value, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message too. And if you're ready to take your Stoic journey further, don't miss our video, The Art of Silence, 13 Stoic Lessons for a Mindset Shift. It'll change the way you think. Click here to watch now.